Welcome to Wild Purple Energy. Today we're going to be talking about 3 ways to help your community and 3 ways to help yourself during a community crisis. At the time of this recording, the whole world really, but the United States in particular is still dealing with the effects of the coronavirus pandemic and also the effects of the really tragic murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And there's just a lot going on, and there's still, there's been so much turmoil, and 2020 has been a doozy, as we all know. And those of us who are part of the, spiritual community have been kind of seeing that, that something was coming. The planets were telling us that we were going to have a rough year, although many of us did not know how that would manifest. But here it is. It has manifested as our world changes over and as Mother Gaia cleans herself up and we move from the old Piscean age into the Aquarian age. There's a lot of turmoil. And right now we've got the coronavirus, and we have some serious civil unrest, civil disobedience, and some might even say a mini civil war, or one that could be brewing. And despite all of that, we're here. We have to live in it. And how do we deal with all of the negative things that are going on, and all of the stress, all of the negative energy, all of the fear and worry that not only we might be feeling, but also the people around us are feeling as well. So we're going to talk about productive ways to respond to a external crisis, okay, and ways that are not so productive. So we're going to start with how to help our community when our community is in crisis. So, in my opinion, there's really only 3 things that you can do to help others when there is a crisis that is occurring that is external to yourself. There's only 3 things you can really do that's productive. And anything outside of that, I don't feel is very productive. And we'll talk about that in a minute. The first thing you can do is act. Like, actually do something about it. When these things happen, these crises happen, it is so easy for all of us to go into a place of powerlessness. Like what the hell are you supposed to do about the coronavirus as a citizen, right? What can you do about police brutality? What can you do about racism? And from that place of powerlessness comes, despair, depression, defeatist thoughts, and that also affects your immune system. So we don't want to go there. So the best thing you can do is to actually take a physical action. So let me give some examples. The coronavirus, for example, a lot of people felt like they couldn't do anything to really help others, or maybe not help themselves. But one thing that people did is they sewed masks. So we were low on masks before, and people actually started making them out of socks, out of fabric, out of shirts, out of paper, whatever they had. They made and distributed those masks and other protective materials to the frontline workers in the hospitals and to the elderly and whoever needed them. That's huge. No matter what you believe about this virus, and you know that the beliefs are from here to, Tulsa to Tokyo, and what this virus really is and what's going to really help, it doesn't really matter. Someone who wanted their nose and mouth to be protected got that protection because somebody took actual action. Another way to take action, for example, after what happened to poor Mr. Floyd, people protested. They took to the streets. They said, no, we're not going to stand for this crap in our community anymore. Perhaps their reaction was bigger than they intended, and unfortunately some very negative and damaging things happened that was not helpful, so our emotions got away from us a little bit. But I think a lot of us know that some opportunists took advantage of our protesters' emotions and caused more destruction than what the actual protesters actually caused. That's another video. But my point is, people got out of their homes, they went someplace, they made signs, they got in front of the TV, they made their voices heard, and they said, no, we're not going to stand for this anymore in protest. That is taking an actual action. And it did help because it sent a message, and it told the powers that be and everybody else that there's a significant number of people here in our country who are not going to stand for racism and police brutality anymore. And as a result, there's been all of these wonderful, donations and other things, programs that are started, funds that have been started to help eradicate some of the brutality and that, just really disgusting global mindset that has been circulating and percolating in our law enforcement. And that wouldn't have happened if people didn't do something. Okay, so a call to action. Number 2, if you don't feel comfortable taking physical action, going out of your home to protest or helping people, like people helped sweep up glass after the people's businesses were broken into and things like that, for whatever reason, then donate money to the people who do feel comfortable. These wonderful organizations that are helping the victims of the riots, like, they need money. Okay, these people lost their businesses. They got to pay to put those windows back in. They had to pay for those that plywood. Organizations are helping them, and people who are still struggling. They lost their jobs maybe because of their break-ins and the looting or whatever. Now there's all this food and water that's being donated, and a lot of that happened just from people jumping into their PayPal or the Cash App and sending money to organizations who are going to be the so-called boots on the ground. So that's a great thing to do. Go ahead and contribute. There's no shame in that. I'm going to be really honest with you. As somebody who is an empath, you're not probably going to see me protesting. That's not my way. That is the emotional overload for me. And that's just not the way that I choose to do things, but I help in other ways. So donating is one way that I help, is one way that you can help. Number 3, get on your knees and pray. Okay? The third thing you can do is you can make your spiritual offerings. Y'all, I've said this before. It is, in the times of crisis, it is time for us to fall back on our faith. Do not underestimate the power of prayer. Do not underestimate the power of meditation. Do not underestimate your spiritual rituals where you are asking your ancestors or petitioning the spirits for help. It works. It helps. Now, quick lesson here. We all know that for those of us who are believers in something greater than ourselves, know that we come from the Creator, and the Creator is not made of flesh. The Creator is spirit. It is consciousness. It is conscious energy, and the Creator, it made these, this hard table and these walls and my, my flesh, right? So there is a process from non-physical, down to physical. See, creation is top down. There are 9 different dimensions that human beings have access to on some level, okay? And the beings that created our world here created top down. So you don't create from dimension up, you create from dimension down. So if the creator gods or the creator beings are able to start with thought, okay, using their mind, using their conscious energy that drops down to dimensions 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and here we are now in the 3rd dimension with solid matter made manifest. Okay, so your thoughts, your emotions, your intention are also energy, but they're not 3rd dimensional energy. They're 4th dimensional energy or 5th dimensional energy. And some of you super powerful folks can even tap into the dimensions even higher than that. Some of you can. Okay? So if that is the case, now for those of you who are in the Judeo-Christian faith, you know that we are taught that we were made in the image of our Creator. But I believe that's our spiritual image, because I don't think God looks like, God doesn't look like this, doesn't have 2 arms, 2 legs, okay? So if our Father, okay, if the Creator can make thoughts into things, then so can you. I need you to hear that, okay? So do not feel that when you go to the Creator, okay, or you go to the angels and ask the angels to come and dissolve the fear energy and the anger energy over the city that you live in. When you go to your ancestors, when you go to the nature spirits, when you go to Mother Gaia, when you go to your ascended masters, Master Jesus, Master Buddha, okay, whoever, understand and know that these beings know how to create. They know how to create and manifest, and they know how to uncreate, destroy, and make unmanifest. So if you are accessing your higher part of yourself or these other external higher dimensional beings for assistance, asking them to help manifest something that will help us clear out this negative energy, or to destroy negative energy so that these riots and things can simmer down, they know how to do that. And you can ask them, and it will have an effect. So if you don't feel comfortable going out and protesting, and if you ain't got no money, you do have your prayers. And so do that. Okay. So those are 3 things that you can do for your community during a crisis. Okay. And now let's talk about what you can do for yourself. So the first thing is actually the same as the other. Take action. So taking action helps you because, when you're going through something and when you are upset or sad or something is happening, when you go out and help somebody else, it takes you out of powerlessness and puts you into an attitude of gratitude. And gratitude is a very high vibration, and it'll stop you from going into mental despair and mental anguish. And I know it sounds a little bit sad, but when you're not doing well, sometimes when you see that someone else is doing even worse than you, that's what puts you in that gratitude. You start saying, gosh, my situation is really not as bad as I thought, or at least I wasn't impacted by this particular tragedy this time, and I'm going to be thankful for that. And so that raises your vibration. And of course, when your vibration is higher, then your emotions are going to be more stable and you'll be feeling good. So just as it's good for you to help your community by taking action, helping others will also help you stay balanced during a crisis as well. The second thing that you can do for yourself during this crisis is to allow yourself to have your emotions intentionally and then releasing them. Okay? So it doesn't help you to pretend that you're not bothered by the fact that people are dying, by the fact that, these poor healthcare workers are just so tired. The National Guard are tired, and that the people, that this man's life was taken by what, in my opinion, was a soulless being in a cop's uniform. But that's another story. That being said, regardless of the condition of that man's soul, there is something within him that said that it was okay. It was okay to snuff somebody out in the middle of the street. He had the power to do that, and it was okay to do that. And that this person who was underneath his knee, and wasn't worth the salt it takes to put in the bread, as my friend's mother used to say, and that's upsetting, and it's sad, it's saddening, and it's anger producing. So go ahead and be sad. Go ahead and be angry about it. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to grieve. But I ask you to be mindful about how you handle your emotions. If you've got anger coming out, if you've got things coming out of you, that's when it's time to go and do a workout. Okay, first cry. Okay, get it out. Release it. Release it through crying. Go outside and get grounded. Okay, put your feet on the ground to help you get stable and back into your body. Okay, go for a walk. Exercise. Get it out. If you need to punch a couple of pillows, punch a couple pillows. If you need to go drive in your car somewhere and scream at the top of your lungs so that no one can hear you, then do that. Okay? So have your emotions, but make sure that you release them. See, the problem is that people don't release them, and they keep feeling their emotions over and over and over and over again, and then they drive themselves into a tizzy, and then they turn into a puddle. Okay? We still gotta work. We still gotta, take care of our families. We can't afford to be a puddle for a month, okay? But you definitely want to digest those emotions so they don't get snuffed down and trapped in the body, because that's when we start having dis-ease situations. So just to review, allow yourself to feel it. Make sure that you have the intent to release the emotions. after you feel them. And when you feel it coming up, release it crying, exercising, going outside, yelling, screaming, kicking something like a pillow, okay? Throw your stuffed animal, whatever. But make sure you release it. This is another good time to do some salt bathing, okay? Because when you're doing that salt bathing, it'll help dissolve and transmute the negative energy in your emotional body and help your physical body to relax. So check out wildpurpleenergy.com and check out the wind down and emotional clearing bath salts. And also think about the sprays and some of the oils and the aromatherapy to help you calm down and manage your emotions as well. I recommend emotional clearing for that one. Okay. The last thing you can do for yourself during a crisis. Now this one is actually coming from spirit. This is coming from my spirit guides. I've been speaking kind of from myself to some degree. Now I'm telling you what spirit said when I asked them what to say during this video, and they said, number 3, time to unplug. They said stop watching violence. That's what they said, and I saw again that stop sign they showed me before, but I also saw like a unplug. So what they're meaning by that, when they say violence, they don't mean like just like, you know, fist and guns, but they just mean like all the things that are happening are violence. They're violence against the spirit, violence against the heart, okay, violence against the soul. You know, so you know, the news, who is a distributor of fear, that's what they do. They distribute fear and cause chaos. They love scaring the hell out of people. And the news never covers something once. They have to cover it. They have to talk about it in the morning. Then they kind of break in at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock and tell you about it, what they're going to talk about, and they talk about it again at noon. And they talk about it again at 5, and talk about it again at 6, and then talk about it again at 10 o'clock, okay? You don't need to know how many people died of coronavirus in another country. Why do you need to know that information? Why do you need to know how many people died of the coronavirus in the world? Are you really going to sit there in front of your TV and watch these numbers in red, right? Just to get you scared. This many people have died. What is that going to do for you? Why do you need that information? You don't need that information. Let me ask you, how many times do you need to see poor Mr. Floyd's life snuffed out in that video that they played over and over again, which honestly was disrespectful to Mr. Floyd, to be honest? Who wants people to witness their death on TV over and over and over again? I'm sure his soul was not crazy about that. And you don't need to keep watching that. So when you let the media, okay, any current events media of any kind, any type of medium that discusses current events, so that means social media, it means the internet, news outlets on the internet, it means news programming, any type of talk programming, okay? If you are going to watch that over and over again, you are re-traumatizing yourself again, over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I am asking you, why are you doing that to yourself? You already know what happened. Do you really need to know more? Nothing new has happened. And if something really crazy happens, you know that your crazy friend or aunt or uncle is going to text you and tell you, oh my God, did you hear about this? So why are you watching it on the news over and over again for? To do what? Why would you, when you see this horrible thing happen, you have your emotions, you allow yourself to feel them, you release them, and then you turn the damn TV off and you go live your life. That's what you do. That's what you do. If you want to go and help, then go help. If you want to give money, then give money. If you want to pray, then pray. But for yourself, after you allow yourself to feel the emotion and allow yourself to sit in your fear for a little bit, then you got to release it and you got to stop re-traumatizing yourself, okay? You don't need to see death and destruction and fear energy over and over and over again. And I will tell you, the energy coming out of the screen, as someone that feels, the energy that comes out of the screen, because there's a connection, you're connecting to all the other people who are watching this fear-based information. It is really, it's like an assault on your energy body. And it's impossible. You can't feel well and good if you're assaulting yourself. You're assaulting your emotional and mental body with fear multiple times per day. So that's the third thing you can do for yourself to help yourself stay well during all these crises, okay, is to definitely consider unplugging and taking down your media and screen time. So that's all I have for you today, everyone. I really encourage all of you to do everything you can to stay well. And if you need help with that, Wild Purple Energy does have products to help us manage, help you, me too, because I use them, of course, manage your emotions. So check out wildpurpleenergy.com. Also, take a look at us on Instagram as well. We're just Wild Purple Energy on Instagram. But I do just wish you, again, I wish you, the best, and I wish you wellness in the midst of this chaos. It is possible. You can do it, and you can achieve it. And as always, I wish you peace and blessings this day and every day for the rest of your life. Take care.